Larp, larp, larp your bow gently down the stream. Larp, larp, larp your bow. I have a tiny pain. You can probably guess what this video is about from that intro alone. I'm talking about LARPers today. For those of you who don't know, LARPers originated as a term called live action roleplay, but that sort of spun out of control once certain online communities got a hold of it, and it now means to pretend to be something you're not. I put LARPers into two categories, right? Trait LARPers, or like people who act like they have a certain personality trait or attribute or sort of bit of status that they do not have, and fandom LARPers, who are a lot better than trait LARPers because they only just pretend to be a part of a fandom that they're not in. So I'm going to start with fandom LARPers. People will often LARP more popular subjects, because if it's popular, then you already sort of have some common knowledge about it. I, for example, saw this on TikTok recently, with people saying that Cyclops' laser beams comes from a dimension called the punch dimension. This has never once been said, like ever. Not a single bit of evidence has ever said that Cyclops' lasers come from the punch dimension. The punch dimension is a sort of one-off thing in America Chavez's comics. There is no bit of evidence towards this, but because there's some TikToks that blew up saying that Cyclops gets his power from the punch dimension, now that is accepted as common fact. And this little example here shows why people hate LARPers, alright? If LARPers were just hanging around the community, that haven't really watched the media, and they're just chilling, people would probably be alright with them. But the thing is that they don't do that. What they do is they get rid of the canon and sort of replace it with the common knowledge that they've heard from different TikToks. Like Bruce Wayne is the mask for Batman. No, the fuck it isn't. No, it isn't. He's stated multiple times that he's a combination of Bruce Wayne and Batman. Bruce Wayne isn't the mask. Spider-Man isn't some, like, pent-up rage being. Alright? You are getting your comic knowledge from, like, random fucking, like, Elseworld comic stories. And it's not just comics who get LARPed. I'm simply using my own sort of personal experience here to show you. But it's also games. People will just straight up say things about games that are wrong. They're just straight up wrong. You'll see this a lot in story games mostly. Or they will not know major plot points in the games. And when I say people LARP video games, I am not saying people who watch a full Let's Play with their full attention. I feel like that isn't LARPing a game, because if it's a story game, you are still you're getting the basic sort of gist of the story. You know what happens in the story. LARPers are people who have not consumed the media that they are talking about. But people who watch the Let's Plays, I feel like they are fine. Now, the second type of LARPers, trait LARPers. And I feel like trait LARPers can also be split up into a section. And the first section is IQ LARPers. These aren't as common as sort of incel LARPers or femcel LARPers, but they do exist. They do exist. They will often try to sound smarter by giving themselves an accent that they don't have, uh, taking too long to answer questions just to make it seem like they're thinking about it more. This isn't something that's talked about a lot, and you can always tell when someone's doing it to seem smarter and when someone's just slow. You can always tell. There's just something like, it's almost like an uncanny valley instinct. Like maybe cavemen had to detect pricks in their tribe. They had to depict self-pretentious cunts in their tribe, and that's why we know that. But you will always know, and you'll always know when they're faking an accent. You always know when they don't know what the meaning of the big word they're using is. You will know. It's human nature to know when you're speaking to a prick. And now the final LARPer, the final boss of LARPing, I would even say, and that is incel LARPers. These are attractive men, maybe not even attractive, but like, you know, just normal looking guys, I guess, who will go online and pretend to be an incel. They will use terms that they found off TikTok that they don't really know what they mean. You'll see this a lot in sort of BP groups, just because BP has gotten very popular recently. And just before anyone accuses me, I agree with all the BP's points. It has some good points, has some not great points, but you will always see them in comment sections, you know, using words like mog, maxing, just insert word, brutal, and it's always just so fake, because they want to sort of belong to a certain community. I mean, it's the same reason for fandom LARPers. At the end of the day, it is just the same reason. They want to be a part of a community that they're not a part of without putting in any of the effort to actually consume the media that they're on about. Though incel LARPers are particularly interesting because they want to be a part of a bad community. And this is why they are so confusing to me. If you are going to LARP, if you want to be a part of a community that you're not in, why would you choose the incel community? Surely you want to be like I get IQ LARPers, right? I get IQ LARPers because it's a good thing to be smart. And I sort of get fandom LARPers because, you know, there's an integrated sort of community, and maybe you like the characters from, like, just, you know, general knowledge, as I said previously. But incel LARPers, why would you possibly want to be an incel? If you went onto any of those incel forums, you would see all those guys want to fucking kill themselves. You know? Like, go on .org for 1 second. You'll want to stop becoming an incel. Like, that's the most depressing place on earth, by the way. .org is a fucking hellhole. Lads on there just get on there, like, just to say that they're gonna kill themselves, and then everyone tells them to do it. Like, they're proud of them because they are no longer an incel, they're now dead or whatever. But why? Why would you want to become an incel? I get that there's an integrated community and all that, but it does make no sense. Anyways, that's all for today. See you guys. Give me suggestions on what you want to talk about next. And here's the song of the girls who are boys who like boys to be girls, and I like boys who act like girls, and I really like boys who act like girls, and I wanna fuck boys who act like girls, and who do boys like their girls, who do girls like their boys. Shit lyrics.